Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome again to another live. I hope you're having a great start to your week. I'm going to talk to you about my favorite subject today, coffee. New study came out. I want to share it with you. And Kim, good morning. Sherry and Mike, John from Elgin, Illinois, Lise and Martine, and Rosa, Nellie, Sue, good morning, Lori. Now put your hand up if you don't like coffee. You guys are great. I know a few of you don't like coffee. I feel sorry for you. Somebody said to me one day, or I said to them, why would you drink tea when you can have coffee? I'm going to go over the benefits. A new one that actually came out, but Claudette, good morning. A lot of you I missed already this morning. Sorry, I didn't scroll. I'll go back after the program and I'll say hello to all of you, okay? And guess what I'm drinking this morning? I'm up early in the morning. I start coffee. What do I do before I have my coffee? You guys should know this. I drink half a liter of water, half a liter of spring water, or for my American friends, 16 ounces. I will not allow myself to have my first coffee until I drink water. You're going to lose about half a liter to a liter of water just sleeping at night. You need to replenish that. One of the best things you can do for your blood pressure is drink water. Okay, so let's go over some of the benefits. But first of all, let me bring out the new study that talked about the benefit of coffee. And this is new, where it decreases, coffee decreases your uric acid. Coffee is good for gout. Now, did you know that? Now, coffee has a lot of benefits. One of them is very anti-inflammatory. Now, inflammation, I think we're going to do a session on inflammation this week. Because you know me, I'm always flagging studies, and there's a new study on inflammation I think you'll find interesting. So, coffee is very anti-inflammatory. Now, inflammation is involved in neurological disease. Inflammation is involved in heart disease. Inflammation is involved in kidney disease. Inflammation is involved in liver problems, joint problems, muscle problems. Inflammation, it's not really the root cause, but it is involved in almost every disease that you can think of. Inflammation. But as Tony Jr. says, inflammation is not Houdini. It doesn't just magically appear. Inflammation has root causes to inflammation. But coffee is very anti-inflammatory. And that gives you... Now, guys, don't ruin your coffee by putting sugar in it. You can put cream in it, don't put milk in it. We're probably going to do a session this week on the importance of dairy minus milk. Again, another study came out that I flagged, and I want to talk to you about it, okay? But coffee is, the new study is showing that coffee lowers your uric acid. Now, remember what we've said about uric acid. Everybody makes uric acid. Uric acid is a byproduct. It's a waste product. Your body metabolizes, and it's part of waste product. uric acid. What is the number one reason for high levels of uric acid? Now let's see if you remember that we did this in the last couple of weeks. What is the number one reason for the formation of uric acid? It's fructose. It's not purines. Okay? Now I know if you Google it, you got gout, they'll tell you lay off the purines. Gout used to be called the rich man's disease. Only the king would get gout, the peasants didn't. Okay? So they've been writing about gout, seriously, in medical history for a couple of thousand years now. It's not because gout hasn't been around before. But today gout is probably, I always hate to use the word epidemic because I say it too much, but it is an epidemic today. I had people that used to come into the office and they had, oh, doc, I'm so stiff I can't move and I'm so sore. And I said, well, you got gout, man. What? I thought gout only happened in the big toe. No, gout can happen anywhere. It's an inflammatory response to the number one cause is fructose. And remember, fructose today is so different than it used to be because they invented a new sugar called, man invented it. It was made in a lab. It's called high fructose corn syrup. Highly addictive, highly sweeter than normal sugar, and much more addictive than normal sugar. What's it called? High fructose corn syrup. And it's hidden by about 92 different names that they use. It is not natural. And this is why we're seeing so much problems with uric acid. You got a little wee distal on your joints, a little bit of, the doc will call it osteoarthritis. Not osteoarthritis, it's gouty arthritis. Look at your joints. And your body's laying down crystals. But a lot of people have high levels of uric acid, don't have gout at all. But they have other problems. High blood pressure. You see, coffee lowers uric acid. It helps you. Remember, it's a byproduct. So what happens is you're making uric acid, and a lot of people make more uric acid than other people, usually because of their diet of high fructose corn syrup. They're junk eaters. And guess what happens? You see, that uric acid is supposed to be converted to urea in your kidneys. And then you pee it out. But a lot of people don't pee it out. And some will come back as joint pain, but not everybody. One thing it does do, it can give you high blood pressure. It can elevate your inflammation. It can lower your nitric oxide. And now your blood vessels won't open like they should. Remember, we've done work on nitric oxide. So guess what? Coffee helps that. Isn't that great? Coffee, by the way, okay, so it lowers inflammation. It lowers uric acid. I love it. It acts like metformin. You know what metformin is? It's a diabetic drug. It's the number one diabetic drug of all time. I wish I would have invested in the stock market when metformin was coming out. I'm not a prophet nor the son of one. I can give you some of my ideas of what's going to happen in the future. Sometimes I'm right, and sometimes I'm wrong. But I'm not a prophet because they were never wrong. Okay? So, what coffee does, it lowers your insulin response. This is why I often tell people, have a coffee with your meal. You go to the restaurant with me, I'll often order a coffee. What are you having to drink? I'll have a coffee. Now, I got to have a decaffeinated at night. Okay, so it's not the caffeine, guys. It's the bean. Somebody was saying the other day they were sucking on coffee beans. Well, I don't know. I've never tried it. I just like drinking coffee. How many coffees a day, Doc? They're showing that research is showing about 4 cups of coffee a day seems to be ideal. Now, I am giving you, don't send me an email saying, well, I if I have more than 1 cup, well, that's you. Everybody's different, right? And I'm just telling you what the research is showing and my clinical findings. I find if you have about 4 cups of coffee a day in that area, not too much more than that, this is generally about the best. Think of it's lowering your insulin. Doesn't that just get you excited? That is why often coffee is called a fat burner. It's a fat burner. Why is that? Well, it lowers your insulin response. You know what insulin is? Insulin is a fat-storing hormone. Insulin's job is to take sugar out of your bloodstream at all costs and park it. And sugar parked turns into a fat ball. Yep. And coffee helps with that. Can I give you another reason to have a coffee? Now, I drink coffee black. I just tell you a little bit of history about me. I started drinking, my grandma, and my mom too, I shouldn't just say my grandma, percolated coffee. Oh, the smell. I remember even as a teenager, oh man, the smell of coffee. I love the smell of coffee. And for people that don't like coffee, I feel sorry for you. But as a kid, and my mom wouldn't let me drink coffee as a kid, but my grandma would. You know, grandmas, they never say no. No is not part of their vocabulary, okay? So when I was at my grandma's, which was often, I could have a coffee. She'd percolate a coffee and, the smell of it. But in order for me to drink it when I was a teenager, 14, 15 or whatever I was, I had to put sugar in it. I put 3 or 4 sugars in it. I think 4 sugars. I just really had syrup, not a coffee. But when I remember this is grade 13. I stopped putting sugar in my coffee. I love coffee, but now I said, you know what? I got to cut the sugar down, especially after my father came home and announced to us that he was a diabetic. And I watched my dad eliminate sugar from everything, including his coffee. My dad loved coffee. He was smart. He didn't realize back then how good it was for even his diabetes. Anyways, so for me, it was a transition from, and this is why I'm so big on habits, because it takes, why do you think I do 30 days with the reset? There's a lot of reasons for it. And 30 days, I want you to enforce a habit. And when you're drinking coffee, you are lowering your insulin. You're lowering your insulin response. Cream, not milk. And black, preferably. It's a habit. Like I said, I put some cream in, grade 13, and I started eliminating sugar. Like I think I still used about a quarter of a teaspoon of sugar. And then just over the years, I said, what am I doing that for? I don't need that. And then I just had cream. And then I just said, one day, it's got to be cheapers. 20 years ago? Oh, more than that. I said, no more cream even for me. I'm going to try it black. And guess what? I mean, now today, many patients have come to my office over the years, and with a peace offering. If I bring Dr. Martin a coffee, and, they'll go by Tim's or whatever, and, the equivalent in the States would be stopping by Dunkin' Donuts or whatever, and getting me a coffee, and I always appreciate it, but I never drank it. Because they usually would get me a regular coffee or one with just cream, and if there was any sugar, I just wouldn't drink it. As a matter of fact, it's not because I was trying to be impolite. I couldn't stand it. You can't put any sugar even near my coffee today. Don't put any sugar near it. I used to drive around the drive-thrus because if I could even taste a little bit of sugar, I'd go back. I'd circle again and say, look, I changed my coffee, man. I wanted black, nothing else. But anyway, all I'm saying is coffee is fantastic. So what does it do? It lowers your uric acid. That's an important factor, especially in this day and age with high fructose corn syrup. It's a big problem. And like I said, doesn't have to be gout, guys. Doesn't have to be gout. Uric acid, you got high blood pressure, you probably have high levels of uric acid in your body. Coffee lowers that. Coffee lowers your inflammation response. Tremendous. Coffee acts like insulin, to lower your insulin resistance. Coffee is a fat buster. Yeah. A lot of people like green tea for fat busters. Yeah, me too. But why drink green tea when you can drink coffee? Now, and this research, guys, is incredible. Coffee is anti-cancer. You have to understand something. I'm an old goat. I've been around a long time. And you have to understand that for 20, 30 years or more, even the days before you could Google it. Okay? I've been around a long time. Coffee is acidic. Coffee's no good for you. All the gurus. Oh, don't drink coffee. It's got caffeine and it's not good for you because it's very acidic. It'll change your pH to acidity, and that's going to increase your risk of cancer and heart disease. You know how many times I heard that? You know how many times? I mean, go back 20, 30, 40 years. When I was telling people to drink coffee, most of my colleagues and gurus were saying, nah, it's no good for you. Well, you know what? They were lying pants on fire. Now, I'm not saying they did it on purpose. Oh, it's a diuretic. It'll take away all your minerals from your body. And they say, you know how many times I heard that? 1,000 times. And I kept saying, nope, coffee's good for you. Coffee is a powerful antioxidant. Coffee is a powerful bioflavonoid. Guess who was right? I was right. And the thing is, coffee, they're showing now, I'm going to give you, I wrote them down here, okay? How many cancers? What they're showing is coffee is very, very much anti-cancer. Specifically 4 of them. Pancreatic. Makes sense, right? Your pancreas. What does it secrete? I mean, besides enzymes, what does your pancreas do? Insulin. We already talked about it. So guess what cancer goes down, which, by the way, today. I remember, again, I was born in the days of Noah, okay? But let me just say this, that when I started practice, pancreatic cancer was very rare. I mean, it was deadly, still is, but extremely rare in the 1970s. Extremely rare still in the 1980s. And then it started to skyrocket. Well, wonder why. All the sugar and all the crappy carbohydrates made your pancreas go crazy. And today, pancreatic cancer is still a deadly cancer, and it is it's a common cancer today. I wonder why. But coffee helps to prevent pancreatic cancer. Coffee helps to prevent esophageal cancer. Isn't that important? It helps to prevent esophageal cancer, which again is a very common cancer today, especially with people with Barrett's syndrome, acid reflux for a long, long time. Over the years, it makes them much more susceptible to esophageal cancer. Coffee helps. Coffee helps. Bowel cancer. Bowel cancer. Here's another epidemic today. Bowel cancer. Why is that we're seeing so much bowel cancer, especially amongst young people today? Well, there's a couple of reasons for it, but the biggest one is the diet. The biggest one is the diet. They feed yeast. Sugar, especially high fructose corn syrup, makes yeast grow like it's on steroids. The diet. Coffee helps. Coffee helps with bowel cancer. Study after study is showing it to help prevent bowel cancer. And the 4th one is liver cancer. Again, we see so much of it today. Liver cancer, deadly, deadly. And coffee helps. Coffee helps those cancers. It's therapeutic, guys. Now, let me just share something again, what coffee is good for. Coffee is very high in quercetin. Starts with a Q. Quercetin, okay? Quer, okay? Citin, quercetin. Quercetin, you know what quercetin does? Coffee is full of quercetin. Now, fast story, because I've said it a lot of times, but just repetition. Because we call coffee at the Martin Clinic vitamin C. It eliminates the other vitamin C, ascorbic acid. Okay? I mean it. People think I'm joking. I'm not joking. The only time I like ascorbic acid on its own is when they give it to you in IV. High doses, vitamin C. But you're better off taking vitamin C in coffee. Now, if you think I'm foolish, you have every right to think that, but I want to defend myself a little bit. When Jacques Cartier came to Canada, wasn't called Canada in those days, obviously, in the 1600s, he landed down the St. Lawrence River, and men died of scurvy. which is what? What is scurvy? It's a lack of vitamin C. 25 of his men died of scurvy. It was the First Nations, indigenous people, who met up with Jacques Cartier, and they gave him a tea made up of pine bark. They didn't give him, well, here's a fruit. They gave him a tea. Could have been coffee. No, but seriously, guys. And it was made up of pine bark. And Jacques Cartier wrote in his annals, he said, look, not only are we no longer dying, but we're feeling so much better. Guys, you see what coffee is? Coffee is a multitude of bioflavonoids. In my opinion, better than vitamin C. I know a lot of you guys, you know what, I get a cold, I take vitamin C. Well, you know me. I'd rather you take vitamin D. You just missed by one letter in the alphabet. But I also want you to take vitamin C in coffee. Why? Because it has quercetin. You know what quercetin does? We heard about it through this whole thing on the virus. Right? Quercetin takes zinc and drives it into the cell. Now, I don't want you to necessarily take quercetin as a supplement. Some people do, but I'd rather you drink it. Drink it. Quercetin's in coffee. It'll drive zinc. Now, how do you get zinc? You eat steak. Vitamin S. Again, you know, you can take zinc as a supplement, but why would you do that if you can eat steak? So you get your zinc and have a coffee, and it'll drive that zinc in your vitamin S into the cell wall. You know what that does? It helps you fight the virus, along with vitamin D. You want to talk about building up your immune system. Drinking coffee builds your immune system. I'm giving you all the good news today. Okay? So it acts like metformin. It's a fat buster. It's insulin. It really helps your insulin to help insulin resistance at the cellular level. This is why I like to drink coffee with my meal. I start the day, though, even if I'm... You know what's the good news, too, about coffee? You can use it if you're intermittent fasting. Now, somebody asked me, if I have cream in my coffee, can I still intermittent fast? Yes and no. Technically, no. Technically, no. But I can tell you by experience and by seeing the results, you have a little bit of cream in your coffee in the morning and you're fasting, technically it breaks your fast, but not really, guys. You're not secreting any insulin. See, the idea really with intermittent fasting is, you're not using any insulin. You have a coffee. You're actually helping. Now, if you have to have cream in it, go for it. No sugar. No sugar. And no honey. Honey. And no maple syrup. You got it? No. Dr. Martins, it's honey. Yeah, I know, honey. I get it. But I don't want you to put it in your coffee. We live in a different world today. If you lived 100 years ago and you were using a little bit of maple syrup and a little bit of honey in your coffee, well, good for you. But today, don't do it. Don't do it. Because there's so much stinking sugar. There's so much added sugar. And sugar is so toxic. And I know maple syrup's a little bit, it's certainly better than sugar. God gave us some sweeteners. I get it, guys. But I'm telling you, I am telling you in this day and age, especially with uric acid and whatever, be very, very careful. Okay. Now, okay. I had to take a deep breath there. Okay. Guys, now, does your coffee have to be organic? No. Is it better? Yeah, it's always better. You know me. Again, I speak in generalities. People ask me every day what kind of coffee I drink. Well, I'm a strong coffee guy. I like strong coffee. I don't like weak coffee. I like strong coffee. I drink it black. I like a dark roast mostly. Okay, mostly that. Does it have to be organic? I know you're going to ask me, so I'm just answering as much as I can, okay? I have a certain couple of brands that I like. I'm pretty fussy. I am. I'm fussy about coffee, okay? I was in Costco the other day and I bought a coffee and I brought it home and I didn't like it. I said, life is too short for me to drink this. And you know, in Costco, everything is this big, right? Huge. And I said, what am I going to do with it? I gave it away. I became a good citizen. I said, life is too short for me. I got the wrong brand that I usually like, and I won't drink it because life is too, I said to myself, no, it's one of my real little thrills in life is drinking coffee. The true vitamin C. The true vitamin C, and I mean it. Okay? I mean it. You're not going to get me to back down on that. Okay? Okay. So this week, if you have not signed up, 6 p.m. Eastern, we are going to do a webinar, seminar, whatever you want to call it, on cortisol. You got to get this, guys. You want to join up with us, okay? On Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Eastern, you have to sign up for it so that you get the link or whatever it's called to the Zoom. We have limited space. So if you're not sure how to sign up, ask in the group here, okay? Or my girls, okay? Brandy and Jeanette, Nicole, they're always monitoring the site. If you're not sure how to do it, if you're not part of our emails, sign up at martinclinic.com. You got to get our emails. They're so educational. Okay? But you can get invited to that. So that's Wednesday night. Okay? And remember, Friday is question and answer Friday. We really appreciate that. People are asking us great questions. And Friday we do that. Okay? So if you're not a member of the Martin Clinic Facebook private group, okay, then join that. And you can get your friends and your family. They can link up with us. And of course, you can get them to follow us if they can watch live or even watch these Facebooks afterwards or podcast. They can sign up for our podcast and get it automatically on their smart device. I'm not that smart, but I do have a smart device. Okay. Love you guys. Talk to you soon.